the UN made an historical landmark, we'll get back to that word in a minute, it attested to the Israelites being scattered to the four corners of the world, including the transatlantic slave trade. This landmark includes restitution for the atrocities committed to the enslaved Africans. Now, a landmark in Hebraic thought is a historical site, a historical boundary. What is the Most High saying to his people at this specific time? The UN passed that historical landmark during the boundary of Passover. Passover is the time that we celebrate our freedom, redemption, and deliverance. Let's rewind the clock so I can make another point. Let's take a look at another historical landmark, the Passover of 1865. On the fifth night of Passover during the year 1865, Abraham Lincoln was shot and the American Civil War ended. This meant that slavery was no longer going to be allowed in the United States of America. Can we gather together another witness? Of course we can. Get your Hebrew concordance, or you can use the one online. I want you to type in 1865 in the Hebrew part of the concordance. You're going to see the Hebrew word for liberty, flowing, and freedom. Can you put the context clues together? Can we gather together another witness? Of course we can. Let's look at the civil rights movement. I want you to type in 1960 in your Hebrew concordance. When we look at this decade, we look at a lot of things that the African Americans accomplished to obtain their civil rights. 1960 in the Hebrew concordance means songs of praise. This is why it is so important to understand the Bible from a Hebraic standpoint. When you study for yourself, when you read it for yourself, okay? When you study it from an ancient Hebraic perspective, your eyes begin to open, your ears begin to open, and your heart can receive what the word and the spirit is really trying to say to you. We can no longer allow Western theology and ideology to corrupt the way that we interpret the Bible. I hope that you can connect the dots.